Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Dear Middle 3 students, today we are going to start our second term with the first lesson or the first unit. This unit titled Chemical Reactions. Lesson 1, we are going to discuss what is the chemical reactions. In our daily life, some of the chemical reactions around us happen. So let's start with some examples in our daily life. And they are examples for the chemical reactions. تعالوا نشوف number 1, burning of car fuel in the car engine, which generates power which make the car move, because the car engine give the car energy to move through burning of fuel. Burning of fuel هنا بنعتبرها chemical change. It's a chemical reaction. A burning of any material, I can consider it a chemical reaction. ليه؟ لأن ال decomposition بتاع elements أو الماتيريال الموجودة before burning ما هياش اللي موجودة after burning. Mostly بيبقى new product ويعني carbon dioxide gas like this evolves. يبقى هنا burning of fuel, it's a kind of a type of chemical reaction. I can consider it a chemical reaction. طيب في example تاني مشهور جدا photosynthesis process. photosynthesis process in the plant. البلانت بيعمل البروسيس دي ازاي؟ through the chloroplast in the chlorophyll, the green material. It takes light from the sun, carbon dioxide from the air, and water from the fuel. Chemical reactions happens inside the plant to give me two products: the food, which is carbohydrate or starch or something, and also eliminate the oxygen gas or oxygen gas in the atmosphere. يبقى هنا برضو it's another type of chemical reaction. The third and the last type, consider some of the reactions happen in our daily life. Examples in medicine, we are taking drugs, and if we are taking the drugs or the medicine inside our body, there are some chemical reactions used to extract the cured material, الماتيريال اللي عايزينها to be flowed with the blood. Then it's a type of chemical reaction. Digestion of the food, it's a type of chemical reactions. Fertilizers in the plant, in the soil, we are adding fertilizers to the soil to give the plant some important material they use in its growing and its flowering. Okay, it's like nitrogenous compound from the fertilizers. Okay, so what is the chemical reactions? It's a breaking up of bonds of molecules of reactants and form a new molecules of products. يبقى المسألة عبارة عن reactants و product. تعال نشوف كده. لو أنا عندي two reactants, reactant A و reactant B. خلينا في reactant A الأول. عندي molecule وعندي molecule. هنا ال two molecules together لازم يحصل breaking. تمام؟ لازم يحصل breaking. يبقى هنا A و A, two atoms separated. تمام؟ لو عندي مثلا for example B وعندي C والاثنين دول موجودين مع بعض، حصل هنا breaking to the bond between B and C. ايه اللي هينتج في الآخر؟ A may take B. Another A may take the C. So AB is a product and another one may be AC. يعني for example يبقى هنا products AB, it's not the same like AA or BC. لا, هنا they are different. يبقى product differ than reactants. يبقى احنا عندنا هنا عرفنا ان breaking up for the mold in the reactant to make new bonds between the molecules of the product, which is the aim and the main issue. Okay, type of chemical reactions, we are going to discuss three types of chemical reactions. Thermal decomposition, thermal means heat, على طول. Thermal decomposition reactions, Substitution reactions and oxidation and reduction reaction. Let's start with thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition means what? They are reaction which involve breaking up the compound. لكن هنا breaking up the compound by any effect, by effect of radiation or something. لا, by effect of heat. يبقى لازم نقول heat. ليه؟ لأن عشان كده اسمها thermal decomposition. Okay? Of heat into its elements like this, A, B, تديني A and B, there is element, or simpler compounds. يعني for example لو عندي A, B, C ممكن تديني AB plus C or AC plus B. This is simpler compound than the original one. Okay, يبقى ده أول نوع. تعالوا نشوف عندنا 5 reactions we are going to discuss in the thermal decomposition reactions to see what happened in the reactants to produce the products. Little amount of red mercuric oxide, ونركز على موضوع red هنا. Red mercuric oxide in a clean tube. تمام. We are going to heat the content which is red mercuric oxide type. بعد كده هنلاحظ ان في gas evolves. Approach a light stick. هنقرب match from the opening of the tube. هنشوف ايه اللي هيحصل مع الجاز ده. اوكي. الobservation اللي هلاحظها ان silvery precipitate is formed. الريد هيتحول لسيلفر precipitate راسب. اوكي. At the bottom of the tube. وبعدين when we are going to approach this light stick, it's going to be glowing for more. Glowing more means oxygen gas evolves. يبقى explanation, red mercuric oxide decomposed by heat into mercury وهو ده silver precipitate. Oxygen gas which increase the flame match or glowing the flame more. A conclusion. Some metal oxides undergo thermal decomposition into metal and oxygen gas evolves. استأذن حضراتكم نشوف فيديو بسيط جدا للدecomposition of red mercuric oxide like this. This is red mercuric oxide, which is HGO. We are collecting here the oxygen by the displacement of water because it's going up inside the tube. After subtypes, this is a metallic gray substance, which we are going to turn into silver. We are going to test here the oxygen gas. You see this, oh, this glowing more, it's glowing more, means that this gas is an oxygen gas. And here is the reactions. We are going to see the reaction now. Let's go back again to the slides. Okay. The reaction is HgO, which is mercuric oxide, give us Hg, which is mercury, and O2. 2 here and 2 here is for balancing 2 and 2. So each 2 HgO, which is mercury oxide red, silver mercury, and oxygen gas. This is the first type. Second type, or the second example for the thermal decomposition reaction is the copper hydroxide. Hydro means water inside. Hydro means water inside. Okay, so we are going to see small amount of blue copper hydroxide. Okay, let's heat the blue copper hydroxide. What will happen? A black substance is formed. طب جايت منين؟ البلو copper hydroxide decomposed by heat into copper oxide, which is black like this, and water vapor. كلمة water vapor احنا قلنا hydro means here water inside. Okay, so مش هتطلع water ليه؟ لأن احنا we are heating, so it is going to convert into water vapor. Water vapor evolves. يبقى CuOH O2 اللي هو copper hydroxide gives CuO, which is copper oxide, and water vapor evolves. تعالوا نشوف برضو هنا الرياكشن ده بعد إذن حضراتكم ممكن يحصل إزاي. You can see here the blue color of copper hydroxide. We are putting it in a water path. Okay. The black colors start to appear here. Okay. After some times, you are going to see that it's almost converted into black color, which is copper oxide material. Okay. Copper oxide. Now let's go back to the slide. Here's copper hydroxide gives me black copper oxide, blue turn it to be black, and water vapor. The third one, decomposition of copper carbonate. The copper carbonates, it's also a green material or green substance. Okay, after heating the copper carbonate, which is green, is going to turn to be black. Let's consider let's imagine or think about the black substance. We heard about it before. It said copper oxide. So the copper carbonate turned in by heating into also copper oxide, but كلمة carbonate means carbon dioxide gas evolved. يبقى أنا لو عندي بعمل heating لأي carbonate substance توقع على طول إن carbon dioxide gas is going to evolve. يبقى green copper carbonate decomposed by heating into copper oxide وكربون دايوكسيد. هنلاحظ هنا مش لازم نعمل balancing. Cu وخدت 1O بس هيتفضل لي من 1C و O2 يعني هنا اتقسمت بالظبط. هنا simpler form of the main reactant. طيب يبقى conclusion, some metals carbonates undergo thermal decompositions into metal oxide وcarbon dioxide gas. ممكن استأذن حضراتكم برضو ان احنا نشوف الرياكشن ده هنفتحه مع بعض او هنحاول نفتحه مع بعض ونشوف اذا كان ممكن يحصل كده ولا لا. طيب على ما يبدو ان هو لسه ما فتحش، هنحاول تاني مرة نفتح اهو كده المرة دي ان شاء الله هيفتح. يلا بينا نشوف ال decomposition of carbonate. This is metal carbonate, faint green. Oh, copper carbonate, solid, decomposes to give black copper oxide. Okay, let's say that here is a bubbles. Bubbles mean carbon, there is a gas. Okay, how can we make sure that this gas is a carbon dioxide gas? Okay, let's see that this gas here inside the tube of lime water, clear lime water, it's turbid. The lime water is like this. بيحول اللime water الclear لمعكر شوية. Turbidining the lime water. This gas is a carbon dioxide gas. Reaction بتاعي copper carbonate gives copper oxide, which is black. يبقى green to black and carbon dioxide evolves. Well, that's the third part or the third type of the third example of the thermal decomposition. تعالوا للfourth examples. خلاص بقى احنا فهمنا اللعبة. Thermal decomposition of copper sulfate. كلمة sulfate يبقى في حاجة فيها sulfur هتطلع برضه هنا. لونه ايه؟ برضه blue copper sulfate decomposed by heat into copper oxide. طب احنا عارفين الكوبر اوكسايد بقى very famous black copper oxide precipitate. طب هنا نوع الجاز اللي evolves sulfur trioxide. sulfur trioxide جاي من sulfate sulfur نفس الكلام. Cu تاخد O واحدة هنا CuO and SO3 اللي remains هي اللي بتعمل لي sulfur trioxide. يبقى blue to black again. عرفنا قبل كده ان في blue to black اللي هو copper hydroxide into copper oxide and water vapor evolves. يبقى some metal sulfates undergo thermal decomposition into metal oxide and sulfur dioxide. خلاص احنا بقينا عارفين الموضوع. اخر واحد thermal decomposition of sodium nitrate. هندور على نفس الكلام. What is the color of sodium nitrate? White color. Decomposed by heat into sodium nitrite. الفرق 1 oxygen atom بس. NaNO3 يديني NaNO2 and oxygen gas evolves. طب دي لونها ايه؟ لونها white. ودي yellowish white يعني ابيض مصفر او مائل للصفار. Okay? So conclusion, some metal nitrate undergoes thermal decomposition into metal nitrite واكسجين gas evolves. كده عندنا الخمس انواع. تعالوا ناخد اخر حاجه في جزء في البارت ده life applications the air bags. ايه اللي بيحصل في الاير باج يا جماعه؟ الاير باج considered one of the most important safety means in the cars. طبعا ليه؟ On the occurrence of any car accident crash, rapid decomposition and explosion happens to a substance called sodium azide. الباج من جوه inside the car wheel اللي هي عجله القياده او الدركسيون بتاع العربيه بيبقى فيها حاجه ماتيريال اسمها صوديوم ازايد. By a small spark مجرد شراره صغيره جدا from the crash or from the accident تظهر في المنطقه دي تعمل rapid decomposition سريع جدا للصوديوم ازايد ده even small electric spark تديني صوديوم ونيتروجين جاز. طب النيتروجين جاز ده بيحصل له ايه؟ nitrogen gas inflated inside the airbag, plastic airbags. يبقى the bag gets inflated by nitrogen gas at an extreme speed. تخيلوا الكلام ده بيحصل في قد ايه؟ within only 40 milliseconds يعني 4 من 100 من الثانية. اوكي؟ طيب ومش كده بس then it gets vacuumed rapidly بعد ما يتملي بسرعة ويمتص الصدمة it gets vacuumed rapidly يعني يفضي الهواء أو يفضي النيتروجين بسرعة شديدة جدا عشان نقدر to ensure a clear vision and proper movement for the driver عشان خاطر الراجل يقدر يشوف الطريق مرة تانية ما يخبطش في حيطة أو حاجة زي كده. يعني هي بتحميه من الصدمة في الدركسيون بسرعة جدا في 4 من الثانية بتكون اتملت وبعدين so it also get vacuumed rapidly. اوكي تعالوا نشوف سريعا كده الجزء ده. هل ممكن نشوف حاجة على الاير باك؟ هنحاول مع حضراتكم نشوف إذا كان في أي شيء يديني تفسير how does it work or how do the airbag work. هنشوف الموضوع هنا. ادي شكل السيارة حصل accident. ادي الايرباج بتاعتنا. To absorb the kinetic energy of the human inside of the driver. Once in a sensor حس بأي accident بيعمل spark. كويس؟ السبارك تخش على الانفليتر اللي فيها الصوديوم اسايد والنيتروجين جاز بيطلع هو اللي بيملى الصوديوم اسايد decomposes وبيطلع يملى الاير باج بسرعة أو البلاستيك اير باج like this. دي الاير باج بتاعتي. اوكي، ده الشكل العام اللي بيحصل للجزء بتاع الاير باج اللي هو يعتبر لايف ابلكيشن للثيرمال ديكومبوزيشن. تعالوا نشوف هنا questions. Number 1, choose all of the following compounds give black precipitate on heating except. تعالوا نشوف لو شفنا الكوبر سلفيت بيديني كوبر اوكسايد، كوبر كربونيت بيديني كوبر اوكسايد with a black، كوبر هيدروكسيد بيديني كوبر اوكسايد، لكن السيلفر نايتريت هو الوحيد الوايت وبيدي ايه؟ بيدي سيلفر نايترايت yellowish white، يبقى الإجابة silver nitride. تعالوا number 2, from the compounds which decompose by heating into metal and oxygen is. تعال نشوف metal واكسجين، يبقى لازم يكون معايا metal واكسجين بس. طب دي فيها هيدروكسيد، لا دي فيها water، فيها كربونيت، فيها سلفيت، الوحيدة اللي oxide هي ال HGO. Complete metal most metal carbonate undergo the thermal decomposition into carbonate، يدي برضه metal oxide وهيدي carbon dioxide gas. آخر حاجة NaNO3 by heated أكيد هتنقص 1 oxygen بس تبقى NaNO2 أو 2 NaNO2 plus oxygen gas O2. That was the last question in our first lesson for the second term today. I hope that you understand all what we explained today, and see you next videos inshallah. Thank you and goodbye.